Hi, it's Neville Mackenzie on the asiatechpodcast, and today I have my guest is Jerry Chen. So, hi Jerry, can you just introduce yourself?
Hey, thanks for having me on the show. I'm the co-founder and director for Express in Music and our subsidiary Express Melody. So, in a basic nutshell, what we do audio branding psychology. So we look to the music science and technology, whereby we pipe in background music for clients in the F&B, retail, and hotel verticals.
So, Jerry, how did you get into this?
Well, we actually evolve along the way. So we started out as a music crowdsourcing site many years ago for couples who love to get their story and their journey together into a love song. It didn't work out very well because needs versus want. They want to have a love song to be composed specially about them, but they don't need it.
Why didn't they need it?
It's too costly.
Oh, costly.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
So we got into the first press coverage right after that. There were a few advertisement companies and TVC commercial parties that came to us and say that they have a problem. The problem is that whenever they present the music pieces, the jingles or the commercial music to the customers for their radio, TV, cinema ads, the clients may not really like that particular music direction. So what they felt that music is an art is very subjective. Therefore, if they have a crowdsource a list of music specially customized for that advertisement, that would actually be a lot more productive because the clients will then have a list to choose from. But we have a problem again. The problem for the business model is that at one point of time this month, I could get maybe tens of thousands of revenue, for example. But the next 2-3 months, I will be flat.
Yeah.
I could be zero. I will have to constantly find new customers, new projects, and it's quite a tedious round of finding such new projects, especially for jingles and TV commercial music. So we look at the market and we saw Diesel, Spotify, KKBox coming in at that point of time for the B2C consumer market. And we thought we can't possibly fight with them because we don't have the deep financial pockets. And therefore, we look at the blue ocean strategy and we take the route of the B2B segment, because learning from the first business failure concept, B2B actually needs to have music. They do not want to have music. They need to have the music, the right music, to have the right control of the ambience so that people will come back again and again. And this is in line with the experience that they want to provide to their customers. So at the end of the day, we adopted the B2B music concept.
And so where were you getting your music from?
Well, we get our music from independent original labels, so our library of music does not contain, at this point of time, your typical Lady Gaga, Justin Bieber, Rihanna songs. No such popular music at
So
all.
are they local musicians? Or...
Unfortunately, not a lot of Singaporean musicians involved.
Oh, so it's a worldwide.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's typically from everywhere in the world
Yeah.
except Southeast Asia.
Okay, so
Yeah.
can you give me an example of, would it be Europe or US?
It's very much spread out. It's very much spread out between Europe, the US. It can be from Brazil, Argentina, Africa, to Middle East. We got a lot of submissions from all over the world, literally all over the world. Yeah.
So roughly how many musicians?
We have approximately 60,000 over
60,000 musicians
artists. Yeah.
worldwide.
Yes, worldwide.
And they're not the sort of easily recognized names.
They are definitely not recognizable names. They are contributing to the library a few hundreds of thousands of songs already.
Okay, so they're musicians worldwide contributing to your library. So what's in it for them?
there are two areas that we pitch to the musicians. The first thing that we actually bring to them on the table is you put yourself in the shoes of a musician and a composer. You try pitching this, hey, McDonald's, hey, KFC, put my music in your store. I don't think a commercial B2B client will actually even hear you out to pitch the music to them at all. So we are able to let the commercial B2B parties recognize their music, bring their music to the public, to the audiences out there, and able to broadcast it in a commercial recognizable platform out there. Secondly, they will be able to track their music royalties and get the music royalties at the end of the day. Yeah, and they are able to see it every 24 hours refreshed. How many play counts, and every quarter they know how many play streams that they have, and they are able to get the money at the end of every calendar quarter.
So every 3 months they're collecting.
Yes.
So they actually see their money increasing if they're being played, and they get direct feedback on that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you will, I mean, as a music label or as a music company, I mean, there's lots of the independent, the smaller ones that are already around. You can see what the market is after. We are not typically the radio hits or popular music. These are what we look into for the indie original music, and we are offering this segment of musicians opportunity as compared to what we see out there that is using your cover songs, your popular songs very often, very frequently.
So they're all originals,
All originals,
and they get paid regularly.
Mm-hmm.
The musician get paid regularly.
Mm-hmm.
So what's in it for your clients? What do they get out of it?
So the clients have a lot to gain from this. First and foremost, we are not just a music licensing platform, but since we talk about that, we will move from there. Music licensing wise, you do not want to play your typical Rihanna, Lady Gaga, Katy Perry songs, because your competitors or even the typical retailers or F&B outlet is already playing that. And one thing that I don't understand till today is, why should you play popular songs? Just because you're following the rest? Is that a herd mentality, just like the elephants following one another? Or are you coming up with an ambient or an experience that you want to portray that particular brand image to your targeted audience? So we want it to be unique and different, and therefore only independent and original songs is able to create that and not put that my frame or put in a mindset that, hey, this is another typical retail F&B outlet. Yeah, because the popular songs are all over. It's too common. So we offer a unique experience in that sense. And secondly, as mentioned earlier about the independent original songs, one thing very special in regards to the IP, intellectual property, is that our license is a non-collective management organization related. So you do not have to pay your typical campus in Singapore, for example, or equivalent to the United States SCAP, BMI, CISAC. You do not have to pay all this composing rights, because we pay and liaise directly with the music labels or the musicians, composers themselves, and we pay them directly without going through a middleman.
So if I was a musician, I would get paid X amount of dollars or pounds directly to me if I'd written the song or composed the song.
Yes, correct. And you're able to track it. And the thing about what is present is that as an independent or regional musician, is that you don't have accountability. I mean, when your tracks are being played in the stores via an MP3 player or online streaming gadget or anything else, any device, you are unable to track it out. Not even the CMOs in the world, any one of them is able to track it. They don't have the platform, they do not have the technology and commercial arm to push this entire framework forward.
So how would you describe yourself? Would you describe yourself as a record label, or because it seems to me that you've got a group of artists or musicians working for you, and then you've collected them together. To me, that would seem like a record. Correct me if I'm wrong.
So far, we have been talking about, on a music or musician point of view, but we do not pitch it at that angle very much. It's actually very rare that I started off talking about on the music side of things.
Also, how would you describe it?
Because if we don't have the demand from the commercial B2B arm, we will not be able to supply the musicians, which is the suppliers, the much needed royalties as well as recognition and the opportunity to be aired in commercial markets. So when we present to the customers, to the F&B retailers, hotels, we let them know that first and foremost, they have a few challenges. So one of the challenge is actually management control. If you were to let the frontline staff, let's say the captain of or even any of the crew member of an F&B outlet, to play whatever music that they want, like one of our clients that is a very popular sushi shop, they sell sushi and they played Korean pop. So as you're having your Japanese food and such, you are actually listening to Korean pop.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's one issue of management and control of music. The second example I give to you is in Singapore, there's this famous celebrity, Gurmit Singh.
Yeah.
His daughter actually came out with one of social media, I think, or a blog post many years ago about an offensive lyrical song from one of the big retailer chain in Orchard Road stretch. And that's where you let your staff control the music and manage it. And it's very subjective as a staff.
Yeah.
I like to have this song because I like Justin Bieber or Katy Perry. I put Justin Bieber, Katy Perry songs. But is it towards an objective alignment of your brand, or is it subjective because that person like it?
Yeah.
So the management of the music comes into control when we help the customer manage it in a very objective manner. Second challenge that they have is the licensing control. You can fire your staff if they were to mismanage or illegally download or whatsoever. But what about the legal damages that you're going to incur besides the PR damages from there? So that's how we are able to mitigate the licensing factor for you. And thirdly, it comes with the independent original artist that makes you stand out and really go through an experience rather than just following the norm, the herd mentality. Yeah. And one of the last few pointers is the area of logistics, where you put in F&B promotion messages or retail buy one get one free advertisement. You don't have to distribute CDs or MP3 players anymore. And I think CDs is literally phased out in today's society, and the logistics to this is actually quite tough because you cannot make it real time. If you want to have a promotion, just slot in a message, and literally all across the country or even the world, regionally, anywhere, you will have the promotion being spread out very evenly. Last but not least, you are able to look into the branding of music psychology. What type of science behind the audio is able to bring about the desired outcome and objective of what the commercial entity wish to achieve. Examples, perceived waiting time, that's to be shorter using sound psychology. How are we able to create the brand recall through increased frequency of a jingle? Or how do we have increased probability of a sale, where we have certain type of voice over messages, and even looking into a higher turnover rate of tables?
Okay, that's
Yeah.
good. Now, it's interesting that you mentioned the psychology, because I think most people are aware that music affects our mood. So how do you measure that? How do you connect the sales of a particular product to what was being played at the time? Is it possible to do that?
Yes, in fact, in one of our many research that we have done together with our company in Japan. They have done a research over a 2 week period. Let's say this brand, we wouldn't name who is it, but it's an X brand. So X brand sells a popular line of bakery shop, some of the good breads out there, such like that. They actually have 50% of the shops at random playing specialized music with voiceover and jingles and customized playlists. The other ones, normal popular tracks, they typically just take it off the top 20 charts. People go into a bread shop, a bakery shop, I mean, in just a minute or two, knowing what they probably want to buy already. So within a 2 week period, it was accorded and proven that the sales went up by more than 20% just by having audio branding strategy involved. Another example that we can showcase is a bank in which they use a specialized music and they have a perceived waiting time of 7 minutes for the second or third person in the line waiting. But with customized music, they thought that they waited for 3.5 minutes. So that is 50% reduction of perceived waiting time. Actual waiting time, 5 minutes. So the perceived waiting time was actually, before the customized music, was more than the actual waiting time. When we look into the customized audio branding strategy, it was actually way below the actual waiting time. And there are more examples from looking at crime rates, looking at how a deterrent of the crime probability of people wanting to commit a crime, or looking at vandalism. So this has been commissioned before and proven using statistics and numbers.
So who selects the music? I mean, because there must be a point where somebody actually says, right, we're going to play this now and then this. How is that selection decided?
We have, at this point of time, I would say like a trade secret, there are 7 elements from beats per minute as one of the most basic and widely known, your BPM. And then look at the tempo, we look at the style of music, the genre itself, and many other elements. It's like cooking up a dish. You know, your Singapore dish, your char kway teow, or your Thai dish, pad Thai, and things like that. The dish is just that, but it is the chef who actually whip up the dish and putting in the right ingredients and the right amount and the heat, the fire, the wok, and things like that, that is able to come out with the right objective to have a tasty playlist out there at the end of to achieve the objective, because we have a total of 7 elements. So it's actually formula like A plus B plus C plus D equals to.
And how did you come across this formula?
There are scientific backgrounds to this. Yeah.
Yeah.
So there are some scientists that we have worked with, some professors, and we are also looking at a 2.0 phase at this point of time, enhancing through machine learning, artificial intelligence involved. So this is already underway at this point of time, and we are looking to schedule this rollout by next year, 2019, which is very soon.
So,
Yeah.
so if you're using this music, does anyone question its use? Because I know in the piped music, some people say it's sort of like a brainwashing, to use a more crude term.
Subliminal messages.
Yeah, subliminal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's the most common misconception that I get. The thing is, if I really have that ability to, I would probably be a billionaire right now.
So how would you do that?
Yeah, it's actually a rumor. It's
Yeah.
a myth. You can't actually put subliminal messages in such a manner for background music. Even if it is true to a certain extent, you need to be exposed by a certain type of frequency wave and at least 10 minutes of hearing exposure. But having said that, what music can do for commercial B2B arm for retail, F&B, and hotels is that they can increase the chance or probability through the feeling.
Yeah.
the experience that you inject at the end of the day. So that is what we are able to bring to the table, a brand recall. So we increase that opportunity or the probability for them to incur extra revenue spending. Let's say at this point of time, different time slots from a peak period to a non-peak, weekends, weekdays, different demographics come into a particular shop, and different target audience are present at different time of the day, from students, family, older generation or the younger generation. So this also plays a part. So we have a technology where you schedule different time slot of the day, playing different music for different target audience to derive different objective. Peak period, lunchtime, 11:45 a.m. to 1:45. That's where your turnover rate of tables needs to be faster. So very simple psychology, music psychology tip is to have repeat songs
Yeah.
more often. So subconsciously, even if it's an independent original song, which actually works better, you think that, hey, subconsciously you think that you stayed for a long time because this track has repeated itself once or twice. So that could actually influence your decision to wrap up and get out, so that the customers, the new customers, the new batch of line can move.
So that would be, say, in a restaurant.
Yeah.
You do some of that in a
Yeah,
restaurant.
so there's a lot of areas from F&B to retail that we can work on, and to bring customers. One of the shops that engage us is to bring customers back on the weekends, because it was in the business district area, and people don't go there during weekends at all. So there's promotions that they advertise during weekdays, and there's jingle that have a very catchy recall, so that there is an increased probability of people going back with their families during the Saturdays and Sundays. And that's proven with a 22% increase in
Okay.
sales, which is actually not bad. Almost a quarter percentage
Yeah.
of
Okay.
revenue. Yeah.
So let's switch to more personal issues now with you as an entrepreneur.
Right.
Why did you choose this business?
Why did I choose this business? Firstly, I left my first and only job, and
What was that?
it was in the events marketing line.
Yeah.
And I was flipping through the newspaper, where I saw that this guy, he mentioned in the media interview that as an original music composer, as a musician, only his wife appreciates his song. I was thinking, that's true, because musicians typically do not know how to promote and do not have the capacity in terms of the scalability to push it out to the B2B or even to any commercial markets as effectively as what we can do. So as a sales and marketing person, I think I can do this role for them better. And that's where we formulate the music business. And I have a passion for psychology in particular. So putting my love for music and putting my passion for psychology, I merge the two together and enhance it with technology to roll out to the commercial
So
markets.
where did the passion for psychology come from?
Since young,
Yeah.
since I was a kid, because of my my mom.
Can you take us through that? Ooh, tell us the story.
She's very much my mother is very much a volunteer, social worker. So when I was a small little kid, she brought us out to visit the less privileged, and then did some counseling, have a lot of interaction, and she actually brought us through. Me and my brother brought us through this journey where we get in touch and get in sync with the psychology part of how we can heal people, and music is a form of healing as well. So this is how I got very interested in how the human mind works, and through a lot of interactions in this field that I tag along with my mom, I get to see that actually, you know, humans are very irrational, same as consumer behavior. why did you buy this thing when you don't even need it?
Yeah.
It's not practical. Yeah, so gradually my interest from there grew in how the human mind works and how music as a form of experience. I mean, there's a lot of senses that is being activated from sound to scent, sense of smell, marketing. All this actually plays a very important trigger role for the condition to be present, and what it can do to the consumer minds. Like, "Man, why did I buy? Why did I want to go there
So
again?"
did you have any formal training in psychology?
I would say, in a very basic manner, it's a lot of self-study. I did enroll myself in that field, yeah, with the support of my mom, again,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I did study into that, and then we actually got a number of support from fellow scientists and professors in those fields.
So when you say you did self-study, can you just explain what you did?
Oh, I got myself uh, a very basic qualification in that,
What qualification was that?
in psychology.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What level?
Oh, it was just a specialist diploma.
Yeah. Okay.
Right.
So and you did that on your own in your own time. Is that?
Yeah, those were the very early days.
Yeah.
And after that, we actually go, or rather myself, a lot deeper into the music science psychology behind how actually music helps, aids, or influence our mind.
So
And
was that
yeah.
before you started the business, or
That was in the course
yeah? But was it before you started the business, or was it
after.
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 Oh, so you had the idea to start the business, and then you went and did.
Yeah, anyway, the
self-study.
interest is still very much
Yeah.
in that direction.
Yeah, I was just trying to get the
Mm.
route that you took as an entrepreneur.
Mm.
So you had an interest, you had a business idea, and then you looked to gain a more in-depth knowledge and level of skill that would help you to create the business.
Right.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah.
So once the business is growing, or once you've started the business, how do you make the business grow? How do you take it to the next step?
At this point of time, for the past few years, 2-3 years, we have been expanding overseas, and we are looking to put ourselves in the position as the go-to vendor, as a solution partner for background music, as well as experiential marketing, from smell, scent marketing, sound, and all sorts in the area for Southeast Asia market. At this point of time, we're in all except Laos and Brunei, and we're exploring Asia Pac for Hong Kong and the Taiwan market.
So how are you growing? Are you looking for funding, or are you growing organically?
Funding, we already have a VC quite a number of years ago, and we subsequently have a competitor that invested in us.
Oh,
So it was a
yeah.
good collaborative partner. They are the biggest in Japan and one of the largest in the world for background piping music.
So when you say competitor, were they based in Southeast Asia, or were they just
In
purely
Japan.
in Japan?
Yes.
And they saw what you were doing and thought, well, rather than compete with you, we'll work with you.
Yes, correct. And we love this such a collaborative nature. In my own business point of view, I don't really see competitors as like, you are my enemy, you're my rival. I truly believe that partnership and collaboration can actually move us forward in a greater force. It's literally like the formula of F equals to MA, mass time acceleration. We go together, grow as a bigger mass. We speed up together. We will have a bigger impact and a force towards the market. Because in the market right now, music is free in their view, and music is important, but not important at the same time.
When you say free, what do you mean by free?
The concept in most executives or managers or bosses that we spoke to, they think, isn't music free? Why should I even pay for licensing? Why should I pay for platform? I know it's important, as part of my ambience, as part of an experience to my target market. But why should I pay for that purpose? Yeah.
So without naming any names, how high up does this go in terms of business size? It would be multinationals or nationals or small?
It's a good mix. It's a good mix.
So across the board,
Across the
at
board.
the highest levels, they believe that the music is free.
Yes. It's across the board because it's the people that we deal with.
Yeah.
Yeah, at the end of the day, they don't think on an MNC level or even a small retail or local F&B level. They are still beings. So we are all irrational and the human mind is very difficult to frame up.
Okay. So it looks like we're running out of time. Is there anything you want to add? Like, how can anyone get in touch with you?
Our website is at expressmelody.com. We strongly advocate for good sound ambience and experiential marketing so as to enhance the experience offline, because there are a lot of talks about online e-commerce space, m-commerce space as the trend, but the only edge that we have for offline retailers, F&B, hotels, is all about the experience and the feeling. And feeling is so unquantifiable. You cannot put a number to it. How do you feel right now? How upset or how happy you are? What is the number to it? You can't put that. So at the end of the day, it is how this simple sound psychology or even sound marketing is able to bring forward the experience that they want to come back again, they want to buy, and there are trigger points and conditions for them that they say, hey, yeah, I would like to go back again, and I remember this brand. I like the experience. People forget what you say to them or what you bring across the table, what's the thing that you presented, but they never forget how you make them feel.
Okay. So on that note, we'll end.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks, Jerry.
Thank you very much for having me today. Thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks. You good?
All right.
This is the